Welcome to Caricomp Insider, where high-tech facial recognition meets real-world intelligence. "42 state attorneys general have formed a coalition to go after companies that use artificial intelligence to make decisions about people. Not the companies building the AI, the companies using it. And if a piece of software ever helped decide whether you got a job, a loan, or an apartment, you're standing right in the middle of this. Most of us assume AI rules are a Silicon Valley problem, something for the giant tech firms and their lawyers to sort out. But the laws going into effect right now don't care how big you are. They care what your software decides. If a landlord screened your application with an algorithm, or a lender scored you in 2 seconds flat, there are now state laws that say you're owed an explanation. That's a genuinely new thing, and almost nobody knows it exists. So how did we get here without a single federal AI law? Start with the thing everyone gets backwards. As of April 2026, the United States still has no comprehensive federal AI law. Congress hasn't passed one. People hear that and reasonably conclude there's a regulatory vacuum, nothing on the books, nothing to worry about yet. That's wrong, and it's wrong in a specific way. The space isn't empty, it's crowded, just not from Washington. Texas is the clearest example. The Texas Responsible AI Governance Act took effect on January 1, 2026. It asks businesses using AI in Texas to exercise reasonable care, be transparent about it, test their systems, and write up impact assessments. California and Colorado went a similar direction, and they both use one phrase that does an enormous amount of work. That phrase is consequential decision. In plain English, it means a choice that changes something real in your life: lending, housing, employment, healthcare, legal services. The lawmakers wrote that definition broadly on purpose. They weren't trying to regulate chatbots. They were trying to regulate the moment software decides your future. If you've ever been rejected by a system instead of a person, that's the moment they're talking about. So what does California actually require? Under its new automated decision-making rules, a business has to tell you before it uses AI on you. It has to offer you a way to opt out, and it has to explain in real detail how the system works. A notice, a choice, and an explanation. That's it. That's the shape of it. Now, the myth I want to kill. A lot of small business owners genuinely believe AI compliance only applies to tech companies operating at massive scale. And honestly, you can see why. Every headline about AI regulation features a trillion-dollar company. But the law isn't written around who's using the tool. It's written around what the tool does. A one-person shop using software to flag a fraud claim is doing the same thing to a real human being as a Fortune 500 company doing it at scale. The statute sees both. There's a cost angle too, and it surprised me. Industry estimates put compliance overhead at roughly 17% on top of what an AI system already costs. And for small businesses in California, privacy and cybersecurity requirements alone can run close to $16,000 a year. That's not a rounding error for a small operation. That's a real line item. But waiting costs more. The documentation regulators want describes design decisions being made today. Try to reconstruct that in 2027 from code already running in production and someone's memory of a meeting, and it costs several times what it would have cost to just write it down as you went. Legal analysts describe it like a bridge closure notice. Construction hasn't started, so the sign feels ignorable. But the companies that map their systems back in 2025 will walk across with paperwork in hand. Everyone else will be scrambling at the barricade at the same moment. And this is the part that reframes everything. The question was never, when do I have to comply? The question is, what does my system decide, and whose life does it touch? Answer that honestly, and compliance stops being a legal threat and becomes a list of things you already should have known about your own software. 3 sentences. There's no national AI law, but individual states wrote their own and they took effect already. Those laws target any software that makes a decision about a person's job, home, money, or health. And 42 state attorneys general are coordinating to enforce them right now. So if an algorithm has ever judged you, understand this. In a growing number of states, you now have the right to be told and the right to ask how. That's not a small shift, that's power moving back toward you. The full story's in the description if you want the deep dive. Now you know something most people in this industry don't. Use it. And when you're ready to put it to work, Caracomp.com. We'll see you tomorrow.